HBO's House of the Dragon is an exceptionally well-produced affair and has all the things you would expect from a Game of Thrones spin-off. Sex, blood, political intrigue and bad language. Here are plenty of people dying, dismemberments, but the main thing is the horse in the tune, it was okay. Oh, and they had to get the down with the patriarchy comments in, didn't they? This first episode was a bit of a subdued affair for the most part, but I'm hopeful the series will ramp up to something a tad more exciting. Saying that, season 1 of Game of Thrones wasn't exactly a thriller minute, was it? 7 out of 10. Episode 2 of House of the Dragon was excellent. While light on action, we are spoiled by riches of drama and intrigue. Marriage is used as a political tool. Friendships are broken, alliances are forged. Threats are revealed. It is beautifully crafted and is much better than episode 1 in my opinion. Paddy Considine is fantastic as the troubled yet good king with difficult decisions to make. It is clear, however, that they are positioning Rhaenyra as a precursor to Daenerys Targaryen. Is that good? We shall see. They might have commissioned a new musical theme though, but it was nice to see those old style opening titles again. 9 out of 10.
He's the firstborn son of the king.
You will be with your own child sooner than
Another great dose of House of the Dragon. Episode 3 has a roughly 3-year time jump. King Viserys now has a 2-year-old son from his wife Alicent Hightower. Rhaenyra fears that she will lose her right to the throne and acts out, riding off into the forest with Criston Cole in hot pursuit. After a little bonding, they come back with a wild boar. Meanwhile, Daemon spurns his brother's offer of assistance in the Stepstones War by taking care of the crab feeder and chopping the ugly bugger in two. Great fun, 8 out of 10. Episode 4 of House of the Dragon was a slower affair, yet still gripping. Daemon returns to King's Landing, hero of the Stepstones, as Rhaenyra cuts short a tour of potential marital suitors. The princess and her uncle sneak into Old Town and indulge in the pleasures of that part of the city. Incestuous relations almost occur, but Daemon falters and Rhaenyra must find relief in the arms of Sir Criston Cole. Obviously spies are everywhere. The king must deal with the Hand, Otto Hightower, who forward reports of the princess's loss of chastity. This didn't have the action of previous episodes, yet it was just as engrossing as we might expect. 7 out of 10. Episode 5 of House of the Dragon saw the main players positioning their pieces on the grand chessboard. Daemon sees off his unloved wife, crushing her beneath her own horse, then using a rock to end his marriage. Princess Rhaenyra, heir to the Iron Throne, and Laenor Velaryon, heir to Driftmark, are betrothed, much to the chagrin of several, including Sir Criston Cole, who dreams of marrying Rhaenyra and eloping to sunnier climes. The pre-wedding feast goes awry, with Cole bashing in the skull of Laenor's lover, Joffrey Lonmouth. A hastily arranged wedding ceremony ensues, as the king collapses as the vows are exchanged. Astonishingly excellent drama, 9 out of 10. Episode 6 of House of the Dragon sees a 10-year time jump and head transplants for Rhaenyra and Alicent. The next generation of Targaryens are growing into petty spoiled brats and bastards abound. Where's Sean Bean when you need him? Queen Alicent has matured into a strong scheming figurehead, while King Viserys is fading in health. Rumours about the legitimacy of Rhaenyra's 3 boys are at the forefront of events, leading to a devious and deadly conspiracy fashioned by Larry Strong. Meanwhile in Pentos, Daemon and his wife of a decade, Laena, also head transplanted, await the birth of their 3rd child. All the families seem to have 3 kids, but it ends in tragedy. Or does it? More great drama, 8 out of 10. Spoilers ahoy! After Laena's funeral, Aemon Targaryen claims her enormous dragon Vhagar. This sparks a confrontation with Daemon and Rhaenyra's children, and Aemon loses an eye. A tense scene between the families ensues. It is clear that battle lines are now drawn between the red and green houses of Westeros. Daemon and Rhaenyra make love and conspire to join their houses. Their marriage will make them a force to be reckoned with, but her current husband Laenor must die. And die he does. Or so everybody thinks. This show just gets better and better. Fantastic drama, amazing visuals, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. 9 out of 10. I was literally moved to tears by Paddy Considine's magnificent performance in episode 8 of House of the Dragon. The line of succession for the Iron Throne and the throne of Driftmark is brought into question, but the ailing King Viserys deals with it with strong words, while loyal brother Daemon deals with his sword. Houses are rent apart, then brought together. The next generation hold the future of the realm in their unworthy hands. Amazing 10 out of 10. After a brilliant 8th episode, House of the Dragon took a backward step in quality with episode 9. That doesn't mean it wasn't excellent, it was, but the excellence was tempered by some poor artistic choices by the writers and showrunners. Spoilers ahead. The king is dead. Long live the king. The Hightowers and their loyal lords strive to place Prince Aegon on the Iron Throne ahead of Viserys' named heir, Rhaenyra. Division within the great houses is swiftly quashed and dissenters are executed. Criston Cole, Prince Aemond and the Cargill twins search Flea Bottom for the wayward Aegon, while Princess Rhaenys is locked in her chambers. At a hastily arranged coronation, thousands watch in the Dragon Pit as Aegon is anointed king, but Rhaenys, freed from her rooms and upon her dragon Melis, bursts into the chamber, killing scores of citizens, staring down the high towers and then fleeing the city. Spectacle outshines logic in this instance, but the episode still gets a solid 8 out of 10 from me. Right, so if you're watching, you've just seen my first 9 flash reviews of House of the Dragon. Why I decided to do flash reviews and not like full-length reviews, to be honest, I don't know. Because I did full-length reviews for Rings of Power, and that was nowhere near as good as the House of the Dragon. But it was what it was. It turned out to be what it was. So I've added those at the beginning of this video. You've just watched them. So apologies if you're bored. But I'm doing a full review of episode 10, the series finale of season 1 of House of the Dragon now. It was amazing. It's been an amazing series. I've loved every minute of it. Obviously, some episodes were better than others. But for the most part, they've all been excellent, especially episode 8, which got a 10 out of 10 from me, as you have seen. So let's get into episode 10. So episode 10 is called The Black Queen, and it's not the longest episode, to be honest. I think it was about an hour, about 56 minutes or thereabouts, I do believe. Yeah. But let's just get into it. Remember, King Viserys is dead. Aegon has been anointed king at the end of the last episode, the penultimate episode. Aegon, the unworthy king who didn't want to be king, has been crowned King Aegon the second of his name, against Viserys' wishes. Obviously, he wanted his heir to be Princess Rhaenyra, or Rhaenyra, whatever. And but due to a misunderstanding, Queen Alicent and the dying King Viserys mistaking her for Rhaenyra, she believed that he'd changed his mind and he wanted Aegon to become king. So now we've got a battle going on now. Not a literal one in this episode, but a battle of wills and what's going to happen. Who's the rightful heir to the throne? And that's what we're going to go into with episode 10, The Black Queen. Remember, the Black Queen is Queen Rhaenyra. Obviously, she's from the Black House, the House Targaryen. I thought they were the Red House, or the Black and the Red. I think they're both, aren't they? But they're calling them the Black. And obviously, the Hightowers are the Greens. So we keep being told that the Greens are coming. So anyway, so this entire episode more or less takes place on Dragonstone, with a quick side mission to Storm's End, where House Baratheon sit. But we'll just get into the episode now, shall we? Because there's no recap; it just begins. So there we go. There's the HBO logo. I've just finished watching it, by the way, so I'll probably get a lot of things wrong. I've not had a long time to think about it, but let's just get on with it. By the way, speaking of Aegon, I did want to mention this in last week's flash review, but I forgot. It's giving me Caligula vibes, I feel he's going to be like, the Roman Emperor Caligula, who was, a debauched emperor. He was totally bonkers and mad, did all sorts of evil, wicked things while he was ruling the Roman Empire. And I get that feeling that Aegon is going to be just like Caligula. So anyway, right, off we go. Episode 10, The Black Queen. We have the usual animated intros of old Valeria with the blood flowing through it. Right, so we're off. This is a map showing Westeros and its surrounding islands. Later on, they put lighted candles underneath to illuminate it from below. It must be. It's. I thought it were a wooden table, but I think it's carved from stone. Remember, Dragonstone's like a volcanic island, isn't it? So it's some form of basalt, I should imagine. This is Prince Luke, or is it the other one? I can't remember which one is which. I get mixed. There's Jason. There's Jason Luke. This is the Jacaerys and Luke or something. I always laugh because they call him Jason Luke, and isn't that from Star Wars? From the expanded universe. Wanted a Jace Skywalker, and obviously a Luke Skywalker. Is George R.R. telling us something? Anyway, this is one of those. I can't remember which one. You know what? I'll have to look it up. Another edit coming along. Right, so here we've got young Prince Luke regarding the map, and his mother, Rhaenyra, comes along. He doesn't want to be. He's been named. He's going to be married off to one of Corlys's children. Lord Corlys and Princess Rhaena. Going to get married off to them and become Lord of Driftmark. And he don't want to be, because he says he's not a sailor. How can he hope to succeed the sea snake, the greatest sailor ever? And he says he doesn't even like going on the water, he gets seasick. But his mother tells him, by the way, they don't know that the king is dead, by the way, here. So it's obviously taking place directly after the previous episode. I remember in the previous episode, at the end, Princess Rhaenys burst through into the coronation chamber in the where they're holding it in the dragon pit or over the dragon pit, and she burst through, killing hundreds of citizens, and then flew away. So she's on her way now to Dragonstone. Anyway, so this is Rhaenyra, and she talks to Luke and tells him basically it's his duty. He's got to do things. Basically, sometimes you've got to do things you don't want to do. I keep trying to tell my son that, but it doesn't sink in. Sometimes you've just got to do things that you don't want to do, or you're scared of doing, and that's my life basically every day. So he kind of accepts that, and he comes to accept it later on. And she says, he'll do well and all that. But that comes later on. And I thought, well, this kid's doomed. Anyway, so she arrives here, does Princess Rhaena. It is Rhaena, isn't it? I get mixed up with the names. There's Rhaenyra and Rhaena. No, I should know all this. And I do, but I just get mixed up. Eve Best, by the way. Rhaenys. See, I say Rhaena and it's Rhaenys. There's a Rhaena, isn't there? Who I think's one of Rhaenys' daughter, or I can't remember. Or one of Daemon's daughters called Rhaena, isn't she? I get mixed up. I could just give them different names. That they're all not too, they're all dissimilar. Anyway, she's here. Rhaenys is here, played by Eve Best, who I think has played, a brilliant part in this. She's been very regal, I think, right until kind of the last episode, when she kind of lost a bit of a regalness. And a bit of a poise, but she kind of gets it back in this episode. Anyway, she's arrived, she's in her armour. Last episode, somehow she quickly found some armour somewhere, put it on, got on a dragon, burst through, killed loads of people, and flew off. And didn't fry the usurper king, which she probably should have done, but that would have been a declaration of war. As she says, so she comes in, she tells She tells them that the king is dead. This is Prince Damon. Obviously, the king was his brother, and that they've crowned Aegon as king. Against Viserys's wishes. So basically, they're going to go to war, and it seems like Prince Damon is relishing that idea that they're going to go to war, and but Rhaenyra, she's a bit more cautious, and she's very restrained in this episode. She shows great, as I said, she shows great restraint, and she acts very queenly, I must admit. So she's definitely the good guy in this episode going forward. And Damon is definitely not the good guy, because something happens a little bit later on and you think, ooh, crikey. But, Damon is a man of many facets, in it. He can turn. He's a bit like, I forgot his name now. Him that lost his hand in Game of Thrones. The Lannister, Jamie Lannister. He started out as a bad guy, ended up being a good guy, kind of ended being a bad guy again. So Damon's a bit like that, isn't he? Anyway, the news about the king's death and her, essentially becoming queen, brought on labour because she was pregnant again. Her 5th child, by the way, or is it her 6th child now? I've lost count. Brings on labour, so she goes into her, chambers or whatever, and she won't let her ladies in waiting help her. So she goes through all this labour herself. She calls for her sons to come, and she tells them that the king is dead, and then sends them, to go and do their duty. Meanwhile, Daemon, is basically sorting out the defence of Dragonstone. Because they think, the Greens are coming, basically. So they've got to defend Dragonstone. While this is going on, you can hear Rhaenyra going, in pains of labour. But they're trying their best to ignore it. This is, I forgot which is which now. This is Jace, isn't it? Jace comes, she tells Jace to go to Daemon and basically to tell him not to do anything without her say so, because she's the queen, remember? He's just the queen consort now. She's in charge, he's not the king. He's trying to kind of act like a king, but, he's not. He's the queen consort, or queen's consort. So he goes and tells him that the queen commands that you don't do anything until she says so. So anyway, so Daemon takes Jace outside. He says, I'll show you about duty. And he gets these are 2 king's guards. I'm sure they've got names, but I don't know what it is. And he asks them who they're loyal to. And one of them, this one here, the one on the left, he says he's loyal to the queen, Queen, Rhaenyra. But this one on the right seems, it doesn't say anything. So I don't exactly know what happens in this scene, because the dragon appears, as we will see, Daemon's dragon. I forgot its name. I should have all this there, because it comes out, this dragon. It's great. It slips. It's a great effect here. I'll just play it a little bit. It comes down. Watch its left wing goes on this rock here, then it slips, and it's great how they've done it. It's a nice little touch. You ready? Look, slides down there. And I thought that were really good. I thought that were a nice little touch by the animators. It's a real dragon, I hear you say. Well, whatever. Anyway, here it is. Where's its? I think it got other. Oh, they must be further back. I thought it had other legs. I think are they behind there? Because it is it's a snake-like dragon, isn't it? Is Daemon's? It's a different shape to all the others. Anyway, so he's basically Daemon's giving them 2 king's guards. The option, if they choose Queen Rhaenyra, they will live. If they don't, they will die quickly and with honour. If they choose treachery, they'll die slowly. And then we don't know what happens. So we presume they've both chose to stay with Queen Rhaenyra, but because it didn't show him letting the dragon eat them or burn them or anything. So that's what we assume. Anyway, the Queen, Rhaenyra, there you go, she's having this baby, and it is heartbreaking. Is this next few minutes of this episode is heartbreaking. I were on the edge of my seat, and I were also tearing up a little bit because it's very, very, very sad because the baby is stillborn. I don't know if you can show it, but it's still, because it's apparently it's well before term, so it doesn't survive. I think it's stillborn at birth. It doesn't move or anything. So that's very sad. And Daemon comes in, seeing his wife cradling their dead baby. So he's upset. There it is. And now it cuts to a scene where she's wrapping the baby in the funeral bandages or whatever they call them. And it is very, very, very sad. And then they have a funeral. A funeral for the baby outside. Here we go. Here it is. There they have a funeral. They burn the baby, and everybody's watching. It's all very sad. But then one of the I forgot the name. One of the twins. The two twins that are in the King's Guard. I'm going to have to look this up again now, because I can't remember the names of them. Where are they? Here we go, the Cargill twins, that's it. And don't ask me which one is which. There's Eric and Arik, and I don't know which is which, but one of them arrives here. And obviously one's loyal to Rhaenyra, one's loyal to Aegon. Obviously the one that's loyal to Rhaenyra arrives here, and he's brought the crown. Because remember, Aegon were crowned with the Aegon the First's crown, the Conqueror's crown. So this Cargill has brought. There we go. He's brought the crown that Viserys wore. So he pledges his loyalty to Rhaenyra, and so she's crowned queen here, basically, in the coronation ceremony here. So it's a double funeral and coronation, and they all bow. They all bow. Get down on one knee. They bend the knee. That's what they say. Except for she doesn't bend the knee. So it's left a bit up in the air. Is Driftmark going to side with Rhaenyra or not? Right. So they're getting ready now. They're getting ready for the big table with the map of Westeros on. These are all the pieces that are going to be put onto it. This is the Game of Thrones. Oh, this is the candles that the light and the slide underneath. So there you go. They slide it underneath. There we go. And it illuminates the table from beneath. There you go. Right. So here she is. Look, Queen Rhaenyra. She comes into the chamber. They're all ready. So I've got to work out what's going to happen. What's the next course of action? There it is. Oh, there it is. There's the map of Westeros. There's the wall up there. Obviously, Winterfell's up here somewhere. And there we go. King's Landing's down here, isn't it? Somewhere. And Dragonstone's over here somewhere. And over the right-hand side, I think that's where there's like Old Town, isn't there? And I think there's Lannisport on the west side somewhere. Anyway. So they've got to work out which houses are loyal to Rhaenyra, and they work out that the Baratheons should be loyal to the Targaryens. Also, the Starks at Winterfell and the is it Arryns? Is it Arryn? I can't remember the name of them. That rule, the Vale and the Eyrie. They should be loyal. I think there's some others as well, but I can't remember. That's when. What's his name now? Phil somebody or other. Famous actor, isn't he? Phil. He was in Quadrophenia. That's him anyway. Playing the Grand Maester, Rhaenyra's Grand Maester. So they're all working out. Who's going to be loyal? What's the next course of action? Are they going to go to war? And Rhaenyra is, asking for restraint because they don't have the manpower to invade Westeros, do they? So they've got to play the long game, work out who's an ally before they go attacking enemies. Then a ship's sighted. The ship arrives, and it's got this is the hand of King Aegon, Otto Hightower. Remember, Aegon is his grandson. This is what he wanted from the beginning. He wanted his children to rule Westeros, or his grandchildren to rule Westeros, which they are now doing. So anyway, he's arrived with terms for Rhaenyra. And he says, these terms are for Rhaenyra. He says, Princess Rhaenyra, where is she? Anyway, she arrives on her dragon. In a moment. Here she comes. Look, she arrives on her dragon. And remember, she's just given birth, by the way, so she's doing well. She's doing well. She's riding dragons and obviously hopping down from her dragon, which it doesn't show, saving on the special effects budget there. But here she is, looks wearing the crown. She says, I'm the queen, but he's saying, no, you're not. So he offers her that if she swears loyalty to Aegon, she can keep Dragonstone, and her children will get her firstborn children, Luke and Jace. They'll get Driftmark and all that, and her other children from Prince Daemon will get high positions in court and all that. So, but Daemon says, I'd rather feed my children to the dragon than serve, and it's a very amusing line. So he swears, because it's Game of Thrones, isn't it? There's a lot of swearing, and it's amusing swearing. So anyway, it doesn't go well. Obviously, nobody dies, but obviously she rejects the offer, and then they go back inside. So he's sent back, and so she decides that. Yes, this is the working out now. What's going to happen next? And obviously, Daemon's getting a bit argumentative now after his little contretemps with Otto Hightower. Is obviously is itching for a fight. So anyway, so she says, clear the room. So everybody goes out. She's just left with Daemon, and she tells him about King Viserys's. He knows the story of the Song of Ice and Fire, about the prophecy about what happens in Game of Thrones, basically. The White Walkers and all that. But he doesn't know anything about it, and he actually grabs. I don't know why, but he grabs her by the throat here. There you go, and he's almost choking her. Obviously, he's hurting her. But then she says, "Oh, he never told you." So obviously, he didn't. Obviously, King Viserys wasn't close enough to his brother to tell him, that story about the prophecy. So anyway, Daemon leaves then, and but she's, she stands up to him basically. So she's showing she's strong. Right. Finally see Corlys here, because we'd heard a couple of episodes ago, maybe the beginning of the last episode, I can't remember which, that he'd been injured. He'd gone for 6 years doing sailor things, and we'd heard he'd been injured, and we were at death's door, but apparently he's fine, and now he's on Dragonstone, and he doesn't really want to side with Rhaenyra because he blames her for the death of his son. Remember, she was married to his son, who it turns out were gay, and he thinks she had him killed because, to all intents and purposes, that's what happened. He was killed and burned, but as we saw a few episodes ago, that's not what happened. He was sent away with his boyfriend, and they've gone to Essos, and so that's what's happened there. So he's not dead, but everybody thinks he's dead. So Corlys blames Rhaenyra for the death of his son, but Rhaenys says she's the only one showing restraint. She's obviously acting queenly, is Rhaenyra. So he goes down into the chamber. See, there's still the lords and soldiers and stuff are arguing about what to do, and Rhaenyra's sitting to one side quietly. Corlys comes in, and it ends up, swearing loyalty to Rhaenyra. Don't call her queen, but he calls her your grace, which is the next best thing. And says, Driftmark is with them, and he says while he were away for 6 years, he's basically secured the seas, secured the narrow sea and the stepstones. They're all fortified now with his fleet, and his fleet is at her disposal. So now she decides, Rhaenyra, that got to send messengers, got to send ravens to Winterfell and Storm's End and the Vale to see if those houses are going to stand with the Targaryens. But then her sons, Jason, Luke, say they should go because they've got dragons, and dragons are faster than ravens. So they decide that's what they're going to do. By the way, this is Corlys telling them all about what they could do now that they've got the narrow sea. They can basically blockade King's Landing and force the Queen to surrender, because it's the Queen that's in charge, really, isn't it? In their eyes, it's not Aegon that's ruling. It's the High Towers that are ruling. The Queen and the Hand. So they decide to send Jace and Luke. Jace is going to go to Winterfell and the Vale to see where the loyalties lie there, and Luke is going to go to Storm's End to see the Baratheons. And so that's what they're going to do. And they said the messengers don't go and pick a fight or anything. You're not going as warriors, you're going as messengers. Go there, deliver the messages, find out where their loyalties lie, and then come back. And Storm's End's the closest, so she's sending Luke, who's the younger one, there. And in the hope as well that I think the Baratheon that's in charge there, I can't remember his first name, is quite a young chap, although he's got a mighty beard. He looks very like Robert, very like Robert Baratheon. So he's closer in age to Luke, but he doesn't look that young to me. But it's an easy job. But as we see, it doesn't turn out that way. Remember earlier on I said he's doomed. Well, we will see how doomed he is. Right, so off they go. Look, there they go on their dragons. They've all got names of the dragons, but obviously I can't remember the names. There is one in there. Is it Vagar or whatever? I can't remember. Or Vigar or I don't know. The one that's ridden by I forgot his name now. Aemond, the one that's ridden, the one with the eye patch. Is it I think it's Vagar, isn't it, that he's got? Anyway, so off they go. Right. What happened then? Yes, Daemon goes down into the some sort of catacombs, and there's a big old dragon in there, and I don't know who this is. It might have mentioned it, but I missed it. He goes in and he's singing a song. Not a happy song, it's like a bit of a dirge, but he's singing away. Obviously, music soothes a savage beast. So he goes in there, and there's this mighty big dragon in there, and it looks an old one as well. Here we go. You ready? There it is. And it does a big old flames for quite a while. Anyway, there it is, and it gives him a good look, and he carries on singing his song. But when we see the dragon, it looks old, doesn't it? That dragon looks old and big. So I don't know who it is, I don't know what name it is. I'm sure, your experts out there will know who this is. It's probably mentioned in the book, but I've not read the book. There it is. So anyway, we see it reflected in Daemon's eyes. So I'm presuming Daemon's going to start riding this one. That's what I'm guessing. So I don't know what's going to happen to his dragon. Is it going to pass to somebody else? Or is it going to have two dragons? I don't know. Because Damon earlier on had been saying that they have 13 dragons, whereas the High Towers, they only have 3. So they outnumber them in dragons. But Rhaenyra, told him that whenever dragons fight, everything is basically destroyed. Everything gets burned. So she doesn't want to be the queen of a ruined kingdom, one that's burned to ash. So that's why she wants it ended quickly and as peacefully as possible. So this is Luke heading for Storm's End. So here he comes down. It's obviously Storm's End by name. It's very rainy. So he lands in the courtyard, and as we see, I'll show it in a moment. As he gets down, he has a look round, and we see Vhagar. I hope I'm getting that name right. The big dragon. There we go. See it in the background. There it is. Look, get the size of that bugger. Now that's a monster, isn't it? See, that's there. So that means Aemon's there already. So he's got his work cut out for him as young Luke. So he says he's here, from the Queen. Got a message for, Lord Baratheon. So here he goes, enters the chambers. There we just see him there. There's Aemond. To the side, he is Lord whatever Baratheon. So we see him up close. He's very, very like Robert. So he delivers the message, and obviously Lord Baratheon is not impressed, because obviously the message, reminds him of his oath and his duty, and he's not impressed by that. He said, Prince Aemond came with terms from the king that his daughters could be married, into the Targaryen family. There he is. I don't know how old he's supposed to be, but he looks a lot older than Luke, doesn't he? Remember Luke and his brother used to tease Aemond when they were younger. Remember they give him that pig. So they're supposed to be 14. I think Luke's 14. So is he supposed to be about as the same age as Jace? I don't know. So is he supposed to be like 16 years old, 15 years old? But he looks older, doesn't he? He's had a harder life. Oh, there was Lord Baratheon. Looks very like Robert Baratheon. So basically he's telling him here that the Baratheons are with King Aegon. So he says, go back to your queen or whatever. Go back to Dragonstone. But Aemond doesn't want him to go just yet, because he wants the kid to pluck out his own eye. And we see he's got a false eye put in. He goes to leave, and he calls him Strong, Lord Strong. So obviously that's who his real dad is, not Corlys's son. There we go. He's taking his patch off, and we see he's got some sort of gemstone in there, a blue gemstone. You thought to put a purple one in it, wouldn't you? Because to get Targaryen, you're supposed to have purple eyes, aren't they? But so he throws slides a dagger over and tells him, to take his eye out, an eye for an eye. But he obviously refuses, and so he's going to go and do it himself. And there he is. I suppose it is kind of purple, isn't it? I suppose it is. I think that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be purple, like the Targaryen's eyes were alleged to be in the books. But Lord Baratheon, it's a King Baratheon then. Lord Baratheon says, no, they're not going to have any of that. He's a messenger, no fighting. It's not going to happen in my hall. So he says, go back to Dragonstone. So he goes out. It's chucking it down. We note that the big dragon, Vhagar, I hope I'm getting that right, he's gone. Not there anymore. So he sets off back on his dragon. I think it's Arrax. Oh, there we go. Arrax, his dragon's called. And it's a lot smaller than Aemon's dragon. A lot smaller. So it goes flying. And we keep seeing flashes of lightning. wouldn't think it'd be super safe, would you? I hope there's no metal in on his saddle and stuff like that he's got. Because he's flying right through a lightning storm. See flashes of lightning, and we keep seeing glimpses of Vhagar. See, that's Arrax flying away, and I think we see a glimpse of Vhagar's tail, I do believe, in a moment. Or I could have been mistaken. I probably imagined it, knowing me. But anyway, we do see it in the end. But it's just, he don't want to kill. Aemon's come, he don't want to kill Luke. He's just trying to scare him, basically. Put the willies up him. And here we go. He flies over him, and he has Vhagar snap at Arrax. We see it in a moment. It's flying about through the storm. There we go. There's behind him. Look, a lot bigger. And he's snapping at him. But Arrax eludes him through some canyons. I don't know where this is supposed to be. I've no idea. Are we in the stepstones here? I don't know. But he flies through these narrow canyons and stuff like that, which is too small for Vhagar to go through, so he's got to go over the top. But then Arrax, he seems to be having trouble controlling Arrax, does Luke. Keeps having to remind Arrax to do us, obey me. But Arrax has obviously got scared, being chased and snapped at by Vhagar. Hope I'm getting that right. And it attacks. There we go. It attacks Vhagar. Look, with its flames. Look, woo! Look, oh crikey! So obviously Vhagar gets enraged, and Aemond obviously doesn't want Vhagar to do what it does next. As he flies away from the storm. Hope he's not too high within the oxygen mask. But then, see, I've gone too far. Hang on. See, flies through the storm and snap. Let's go back a bit. Told you we're doomed. Here we go. And we see Vhagar. I'm probably saying that all wrong. I'm going to have to look it up and put the correct name in. He thinks he's safe, but obviously he's not, because when he looks round, there we go, big bloody dragon, and that's the end of Luke and Arrax. So there we go, Vhagar makes short work of that little dragon and Luke. So oh dear, basically Aemond Targaryen has declared war on Rhaenyra and her family. But he didn't want that to happen, so obviously he's upset about that. Look, he looks shocked. He didn't want his dragon to do that. But I suppose it's tricky controlling dragons when they've got their dander up. So he's not happy about that. Then obviously this is Daemon getting news about what's happened. I was expecting him bringing something in, like Luke's arm or something, something that identifies as Luke's that's washed up on the shore or something like that. But he doesn't. He just goes in and he tells Rhaenyra that what's happened. We don't hear it. It's all, there's no dialogue. So he whispers, whatever to her, takes her to one side. And we see that she starts crying. She's obviously upset. And then she turns around with a very determined look on her face. See, she's despairing her son's dead at the hands of Daemon Targaryen. And are you ready? Here we go. So, see, she's cross. She's cross. So she's going to war. That's that look, innit? They are going to burn for what they've done. That's that look, isn't it? And that's the end of the season 1. The season 1. That's the end of season 1. There we go. The end. Credits come up next. There you go. So there you go. A really, really good final episode. It'd be nice to see a bit of, what's going on in King's Landing. But we did get to see Aemon. We did get to see dragons fighting. And all in all, it was a really good episode. Really enjoyed it. I'd give it a... What would I give it? I mean, it's not up there with the greatest episodes, but I did really enjoy it. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's really, really good and a good season finale. I wanted to see more. Can't wait for season 2. I hope it's in production. I hope we don't have to wait 2 years like bloody Rings of Power. We're going to have to wait. Not that I'm bothered about that because it's not very good. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it, really good. And I'm looking forward to season 2. What's going to happen? I've not read the book. Is it Fire and Blood, which it's based on? I keep meaning to get it, and I keep forgetting. I'm going to have to get it off Amazon, aren't I, or whatever. I've looked in my local supermarket, but they don't have it there, obviously, because they're useless. Because I want to know what happens. I don't want to have to wait. But they're changing things anyway, aren't they? But I'd heard that what happened there with the dragons, that actually is what happens in the book. Don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I'd heard. So there you go. A great season overall. For a score for the season as a whole, I'd give it a 10 out of 10 because it was really, really good. It blew the socks off Rings of Power. Rings of Power at season scored, it'd be like a 5 out of 10. It was just average, wasn't it? And for the Lord of the Rings series, I give it, less than that. But as a generic fantasy series, Rings of Power gets a 5 out of 10. As a Game of Thrones fantasy series, this one gets 10 out of 10 from me. Really good, really enjoyed it. Great intrigue, great effects. We've had some good battle scenes in it as well, particularly early on with the crab, what they call him, the crab feeder. Pity he didn't last long, so you got the feeling he was going to be a good character going forward, a good bad guy, but Daemon made short work of him, didn't he? Literally. But yeah, a really good season, good intrigue, good political intrigue, good characterizations, brilliant acting, great scripts. A lot of things were said with just a look and a glance. It didn't have to be spelled out to you. I mean, that final scene, that final shot of Queen Rhaenyra, you didn't need any dialogue. You didn't need her saying, "They're going to burn." We could see it in her face. That's what's going to happen, and that's what she's thinking. She wants revenge. So, yeah. So, there you go. That's the end of Season 1 of House of the Dragon. Excellent series. Can't wait for Season 2. So, we'll leave it there. So, wherever you are, in what they call the world of Westeros and Essos. Has it got a name? Anyway, wherever you are in the whatever they call it, look after each other. And until next time, I'll say thee.